Hello, today I want to introduce you to my JEM FP77. This is a 1991 model, which I believe was in the second wave of production. I've brought up the Ibanez wiki here to make sure I've got the specs accurate. The body of the FP77 is basswood bolted to a maple neck, with a 24 fret rosewood fingerboard and the fluorescent green vine inlay there, the tree of life. Components include a light pink Damasio pickup in the neck and bridge, clear pick guard. These are a PAF Pro humbucker, flanking a custom JEM single coil, a double locking tremolo bridge, and pink top hat knobs and Goto tuning machines. The JEM 77 initially had the Edge tremolo, although the Low Pro Edge replaced this for the 1991 edition. The whammy system here is just ridiculous. You can go from complete flappy right back to concert pitch. And of course the signature monkey grip. It's got that cutaway there which gives you access to all 24 frets, and the last few frets here are scalloped for maximum shreddage. It's just a beautiful instrument. It's one of those guitars where all the design features, the playability and the aesthetics have just come together in the most perfect way. I absolutely love it for a few reasons. Firstly, I got hip to these thanks to Peter Northcote, who's a session legend from Sydney. He's one of my own musical heroes. So I actually reached out to Peter when I got this and he gave me a few hints and tips for the setup. It's a great guitar. It really is one of those instruments which can do absolutely everything. I really love it, especially for the studio. Once you get the right gain structure and compression happening, these pickups here really sing, and you just get so many tones out of it. You get your position 2 and 4 there as well. Otherwise, I tend to treat it just like a Les Paul with the bridge and neck. Now, I've actually bought this guitar twice. The first time I picked it up for an absolute song from a seller in Melbourne, and he sent it up to me here in Brisbane, and I started using it straight away as my main guitar in a covers band that I was playing with. It was my number one for about 18 months. Although I absolutely loved it, there were a few things that got me down over time. Firstly, there's a significant dB drop when you're going from position 1 into position 2, which is something which I was doing quite often, where I'd be looking for, a sharp rock riff on the bridge pickup, and then I'd go to a position 2 stratty flavor for my rhythm parts, and I'd have to have a boost pedal there just to compensate for that volume loss. Also, I really struggled with the locking system here. Changing strings with an Allen key just wasn't my thing. And also just getting the tuning right as well. I would have it sitting perfectly, and then I found myself winding these fine tuners all the way down, but I was still just shy of concert pitch. Also, this is pretty sharp up here, so in the first 3 frets, you'd find yourself drawing blood up against that locking nut there. Now, this is where I met Matty Baker. He was a session player down in Sydney, and we became Facebook friends just through this mutual love of the Ibanez Gems. This was his Wayne's World guitar, his absolute holy grail, where I think his first guitar teacher had one of these, and yeah, he just always dreamed of it being in his collection. So when he saw it on Facebook, he reached out. Now here's the cool thing, I'd been looking for a Les Paul for about 10 years, and I just could not find one that I vibed with. Now Matty said he had a 1989 standard that was a pretty special instrument, more of a slimmer neck and brighter pickups, which were two of the things that I felt I was needing in that kind of guitar. He said, look, I'll send you this Les Paul, you try it, if you don't like it, just send it back, or if you do like it, why don't we just do a direct swap between the two. Now it was such a kind offer that I took him up on it. As soon as I picked that Les Paul up and held it, I knew it was the one that I've been looking for all this time. So I boxed up the Gem and I sent it down to Matty. Now it was always the one that got away. I did feel some seller's remorse, but you know, I also got a beautiful Les Paul out of it, which is still in my collection, and I'll do a video on that sometime as well. Now fast forward a few years, and my partner and I had since become engaged. Now my fiance had kindly offered as an engagement gift to purchase me a special instrument that would be known as the Love Piece. Now out of the blue, in April 2021, Matty reaches out to me and says, look, I'm going to sell the Gem, do you know anyone who might be interested? Now I felt this was some kind of destiny playing out. Now the first time I really loved the idea that Matty and I had just exchanged instruments that we were both going to use for our music making, and there was no money involved. But this time there was some money involved. So I have to thank Matty again for giving me two of my favorite guitars in my collection. Now these are selling at ridiculous prices these days, but if you can find one at a price that you're willing to fork over, I can highly recommend it. It is an absolute masterpiece, and you know, this is 30 years old. It still holds its own, just magnificent tones and playability. So thank you, Steve Vai and Ibanez. This is one of my absolute favorites, and I won't be letting it go a second time.